Tell us about the new products you're going to be rolling out.
Yeah, so we've done a real big kind of refocus on product within the company this year, which is very exciting. We kind of spent 2007 building the site as it is today, spent 2008, making it grow and stopping it from breaking while we were just exploding, spent 2009 building out a lot of the business, and now we're back to product, which is really fun. We're working really hard on the viewer experience and the broadcaster experience. A lot of the feedback and the data that we've collected tells us that it's just too hard to use live video. People don't quite understand the medium. It's still very new. So, we really need to make it simple for them to both create it, to consume it, to share it. All of that is still a little bit hard in today's world. So we're working on making that simpler. The other really exciting thing that we're doing that I'm most excited about is what we're calling PayPerView. And essentially what that'll let you do is, at first it'll be for limited partners, but eventually anybody, excuse me, eventually anybody on the site will be able to charge either on a broadcast basis or a subscription basis. So, if you wanted to do a cooking show, maybe give lessons or something and charge $10 for that, we'd handle that. We'd handle the payments, the authentication. All you have to do is cook. You can, collect the money at the end. And I think that's a really exciting business. A lot of the media businesses on the web have kind of gotten away from charging for content. It's that old Jeff Zucker quote, right? We're trading analog dollars for digital dimes. What we think we can do is actually charge the digital dollars. One thing that's cool about live, as opposed to something that's archived or recorded, is that it's very perishable. If I want to watch The Office from last night, I've got, in theory, unlimited time to do it. If I watch it today or tomorrow or the next day, it doesn't really change the experience for me. So I've got all the time in the world to find a way to do that for free. If we're talking about something that's happening right now where there's interactivity involved, you have only the amount of time of the show or the broadcast, and after that it's just gone. So if you want to watch that content, you have to do it now. And that gives us and the creators of that content a lot of power in charging for it and creating businesses around it that are frankly a little more straightforward than some of the more complicated businesses we've seen on the web over the last few years.
How pervasive will live be, and how will it get there, and when might it be pervasive, unless it is right now?
Yeah, it's certainly not right now. It's still, we've grown to be a pretty big site, but, on the scale of things like YouTube or Facebook, we're still, small. So we see a lot of room for growth. We think essentially that live can play a part in almost every factor of the web, whether it's kind of the form that it's in right now, which is, media, entertainment, something like financial services, where if you wanted to have live tax consulting, someone kind of interacting via live video with you there, that's a use case that's probably needs more customization than we could provide on the Justin.tv website, but certainly the live video component of that is huge and would be extremely powerful. So I think that kind of it's always safe to say this 5-10 year assumption. I think really what we're going to see is as people really understand the medium. You mentioned chat. Chat can seem very trivial, right? It's just text scrolling along. We've had it for years. It was on AOL and IRC before that. It's not new. But it actually drastically changes the experience. The analogy I use is it's sort of like watching a party on TV versus going to a party. I assume the former would be very boring, but the latter can be very fun. And the reason isn't that the content's any different. It's that you actually get to interact with it. When I can chat, I can not only interact with other viewers, but I can interact with a broadcaster. We do a show from The Office every week where we just talk with users, and then we answer questions. They say, ask us about the new channel page that we're designing, and I can pull it up on my laptop and show it to them. And if we were doing it on YouTube or some recorded format, it would just be much harder to get that level of interaction. We would have to guess what they wanted to know about, produce it. Maybe you get some feedback after that, but the iteration on that is much, much slower. When it's live, it's just real time. It's like we're having a conversation. If I were to record what I wanted to talk to you about from California and just send you a tape, maybe it would be interesting. I mean, I'm sure I would have some enlightening things to say, but I might not answer that one question that you really wanted to know about. And, I could record another video, but it doesn't quite get the same point of sitting next to each other and having a conversation. And I think that's where live is really going to take off, in that all these social services on the web, we've in some ways gotten away from being social, right? You sit at home and you post on Facebook and you record a video on YouTube and you upload photos to Flickr, and there's nobody around you. You're alone, right? And it's in some ways that's not social at all. It's the least social thing you could do. Justin TV, you can still do it from home, but you're interacting with other people, and it's much more closely tied to what I think 15 years ago we would have called a social experience.